Hello everybody and welcome back to the area locked Ironman. We're going to jump straight in with our next unlock on the account, but before we do so, just wanted to highlight a quick change I'm making to the areas here. While looking at options I had coming up, I was a little concerned by the fact that Lunar Isle is just so far away from being a useful unlock. You know, all it really gives me is Disruption Shield, which would be nice at some point, but there's just a massive amount I have to also unlock to actually get there and to make it useful. So it's almost certainly not going to give me anything until very late game. In contrast, Eagle's Peak has, some decent training options. It's got Hall of Memories for some higher level divination. It's got the Pistorius hunting area. But then that's also about it. It really doesn't have many useful unlocks that will give me significant progress as far as fighting Telos is concerned. So I figured I'd combine the two areas together, make the whole thing a little bit of a nicer unlock, which has both, some early to mid-game training and some use late game for Telos. And they're next to each other on the map, so it kind of makes sense. But anyway, time to do some spinning. Just as a reminder, we started, of course, in the Berthorpe and Taverley area. Our first unlock was Port Sarim and Rimington, which was pretty nice. It got me, of course, access to player-owned ports in the future, to all the boat options from Port Sarim itself, and to a couple of new training areas, including at some point the Crafting Guild, which could end up being quite handy. And then for the unlock after that, we got the absolutely incredible Draenor and Wizard's Tower area, which, as well as unlocking runecrafting for me with the Wizard's Tower, also gave me access to War's Retreat and Death's Office for some mid to late game PVMing. It is now time, having hit level 300, for our third area. Still a couple to go before we get a choice, so this one will once again be random. Let's see what we get. Falador could work. Wilderness is a bit... yeah, that's... Yeah. I mean, I wanted at some point. Mage Training Arena gets me Gothic Staff. Kind of nice. And yeah, that's about it, really. Like maybe Abyss runecrafting later on, but honestly I just don't think I want to spend that much time in the wilderness as a hardcore Ironman. Does come with ED2, which could potentially be nice for, some of the melee abilities. Getting some draconic energy. But yeah, honestly, that is a bit underwhelming. I actually can't even really get there to unlock the lodestone right now. So, couple of nice unlocks in the future, but for now, not the best I could have rolled. But, that's okay. We hit two very nice rolls early on, and part of the risk of this account is that we will occasionally unlock some really useless areas. So, there you have it. The wilderness has been unlocked. Another 100 levels to go to the next one. Cool, and jumping back into Gillinor, we've just tried doing a little bit of training on grotworms, but right now it's looking like they're a little bit too strong for us, so we're going to head back to Spell Wisps. And that is level 18 range, probably turn defense back on in a bit, but not quite yet. And there's someone else here. Welcome to Spell Wisps. Ooh, double nature rune drop, that's nice. Let's grab them before somebody else does. Why would somebody else grab your nature runes, you ask? Well, quite simply, because there is somebody else who is level 123 combat, camping my Spell Wisp spawn. I don't understand. The ashes are not that good. Surely at level 123 combat, there is something better you could be doing to make money than picking up buy drops from spell wisps? That's range 20 though. We take that. Aw, they said thank you. You're welcome. Enjoy the ashes. Oh, they left. Oh well, I am fine with this. Let's eat some chicken. Don't want to die to spell wisps. It's not a good look, you know. Really not a good look. Oh, okay, they're still here. Don't know why. Do they know about the rest of RuneScape? Do they know about the area loot interface? They seem to be running around a lot. Oh, they got some air runes. I would have actually liked those. Maybe it was one they killed, I guess. Who knows? Okay. Okay, I'll let you off. You're being friendly. I don't know why you're here, but I'm kind of enjoying the fact that you are. You did just steal my spell wisp, though. But yes, shout out to Baroness Megancia for keeping me company while I kill some spell wisps. It's been fun. Oh, there's a little fishing party going on here. Who are probably all bots. That's kind of upsetting. Just looking forward to making another friend. Hello, anyone here not a bot? I don't think so. I think they're all bots. Sad times. That is level 5 fishing though, which means I am now up to at least level 5 on all the skills I can train right now. It's pretty cool. You're even wielding a weapon of some kind. What even is that? Spirit... oh, it's the mobile tutorial sword. Are you not a bot? Someone actually call their character Wolfsdale 2844? No, 77 Empty 410 also has the sword. Do bots do the mobile tutorial now? Is that what you do with the bot? Do the mobile tutorial and then come and cook crayfish? I'm very confused. We have hit the level where we can catch sardines, so going to leave the crayfish alone for a bit. You're probably not a bot, maybe? Bait fishing spot. Oh, and there are some willows. Of course there are willows here. It's the willows. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. The update that everybody was waiting for, PKO Worldy 24, is not a bot. It seems pretty friendly. And that's fishing level 8. And they've got to 98 wood cutting, presumably mostly just chopping willows. I mean, honestly, fair play. Like, gotta respect that grind. Alright, your letter of reference. Really good at wood cutting. That is fishing up to 15. Meaning we could now go find some anchovies. I didn't have to look very hard for the anchovies. But that will be fishing level 20. We can now do fly fishing, except that we can't because we haven't got anywhere to do it right now. So that is probably a good point to pause the fishing for the time being and go and cook the massive pile of stuff that we've caught. That is cooking level 15 with lots of burnt shrimp, but oh well. So, given that we are approaching the first choice unlock at level 500, been having a bit of a think about what we want to hit with it, and indeed the other milestone unlocks. In terms of kind of must-haves for the account, technically the only real must-have is at some point getting the southern desert region to unlock the God Wars 2 dungeon and of course Telos himself. So I want to get that at some point, but realistically it's not what we want to do with level 500. In terms of other stuff that's a pretty high priority, at some point I'm going to want invention. There are some restrictions that I'm very happy to try Telos with, but realistically doing it with unperked gear not one of them. We could definitely get a few kills without, but in terms of, pushing to higher in rages, getting consistent streaks, very important not dying, realistically we're going to want some decent perks on our gear. So Invention is very much a must-have, which means at some point probably want to unlock Falador. And that's honestly not a bad choice for the level 500 unlock. Obviously can't do any Invention yet, but Falador has a lot of other good skilling options. It's got the Dwarven Mine, which would be a massive boost to my mining and smithing capabilities. Lets me go and do the Knight's Sword quest. It's technically got the Giant Mole for if we at some point wanted to start trying to get some Reaper tasks there. So yeah, it could be a pretty solid option. Oh, and that is level 17 cooking. Continuing to make decent progress. Another option that's on the table is Alcarid. There's not really anything there in terms of, big endgame unlocks, but I will need it at some point just to get into the Southern Desert. And in terms of early unlocks, it does open up quite a few, decent early to mid-level skilling options. There are the Alcarid Guards for something else to kill. There's Het's Oasis with lots of good mid-level training options there, including a good farming option if I don't hit Ardone for player-owned farms. The Fire Altar to start doing some actual rune crafting outside of the Runespan. Looking slightly further ahead, as well as unlocking Invention, I'm at some point going to want some augmentable armour and weapons. And a couple of options kind of really jump out for that. The first is God Wars Dungeon 1, so the Trollheim area, and the 4 bosses there, and of course, at some point, Nex. Those will potentially give me, some pretty high quality early armour in whichever style I wanted. And if at some point I did want to try Nex, maybe I pick up an RCB from Queen Black Dragon and take that there, could be an option. That then starts getting me up to tier 80 armour and weapons, which is getting more towards the point where we could realistically start taking on Telos with them. So that's definitely, a pretty decent possibility. The other, probably best option for very early augmentable armour and weapons would actually be unlocking Mauritania and going back to Barrows. Obviously the armour and weapons themselves aren't quite as good as the God Wars 1 options, but Barrows does have the advantage that, I could start getting consistent kills there really quite a lot earlier. He says, we might have another Darrock disaster, but we'll try and avoid that. And then outside of Barrows, Mauritania has a lot more to offer me than Trollheim does. There's a bunch of good skilling options there, there's another agility arena, there's temple trekking, which is really nice for getting some skilling supplies, there's another farming patch, and there's a whole bunch of questing, in particular culminating in me getting access to a Sunspear, which would be a really, really nice option to have as an augmentable weapon pretty early on. And of course the other big advantage of Mauritania is that if I, keep going for long enough, I will be able to take on a Rexor there. Which, while it's not the most pleasant boss in the world, is one that realistically I could do fairly comfortably once I've got the gear together, and would give me a reliable way to get a tier 90 weapon, without necessarily even needing to do that much of a grind for it. It's probably a safer option than going to Kalphite King, and would of course let me get a mage weapon rather than just Drygors, and realistically I think I'm probably going to want to be maging Telos. So Mauritania looking like a pretty decent unlock, maybe around the level 1000 mark. Then finally, looking slightly further ahead to kind of endgame stuff, options that jump out are Varrock and Centiston, for giving me both archaeology, the relic powers that unlocks, and Centiston, of course, giving me access to both the City of Centiston quest for the upgraded ancient spells, which could be really, really nice, and God Wars 3 itself, which opens up, so many options in terms of getting, Scripture When, Scripture of Jas, something like that. Greater Concentrated Blast from Kerapac would be absolutely huge. Potentially doing Zuck for the upgraded Kiln Capes. It's the sort of thing where, yeah, you know, if I've done a decent chunk of Telos, but I really want to be bumping up my own rage or doing longer streaks, then a big God Wars 3 unlock could really allow me to do that. Varrock obviously would be nice to have a little bit earlier, because there's, you know, a whole bunch of new skilling options there that it would open up. Centison, very much more a late game thing, but could be a solid option for, say, I don't know, maybe total level 2000, if that's the sort of point where, yeah, I'm really wanting to commit properly to Telos and start getting some big kills done. But anyway, given that we're currently only total level 333, that is looking pretty far ahead. Still got a long way to go before we get there. But that is probably a good point to wrap up for now. We will continue with the skilling next time and hopefully get up towards the level 400 unlock. Thanks for watching, I will see you for the next video.